What's good, Eagles Nation? Welcome to Eagle Vision, where we see everything with a bird's eye view. Week 2 of the NFL kicked off last night with the Washington football team going up against the New York stinking football Giants, man. And, I'm watching the game last night, and it was a pretty competitive game, pretty entertaining. I got to tell you, man, I was at my job, as I told y'all in the last video. I work at a sports bar, man. The scene was packed. It was full. It was raining, so I didn't think a lot of people was going to show up, but, the place filled up. So people out there, they watching the game. It was live. It was a lot of drama going on and back and forth, especially in the second half, up in that fourth quarter, a lot of scoring going on. But man, I started watching the game. I'm like, man, these are two very not well coached football teams. These are two, not very good football teams. You know what I'm saying? Whichever team is going to make the mistake is going to lose the game. And when Taylor Heineke threw the pick, I'm like, there it is. But there was the New York stinking football Giants making the last mistake and jumping off sides on that field goal that the Washington football team missed that would have won the game for the Giants. But it's the Giants. So the Giants fall to 0-2. The Washington football team goes to 1-1. And then I started thinking to myself while I'm watching the game, think about these Dallas Cowboys, man. Don't start hitting me up in the comments and everything, but the Cowboys, I think they're going to lose this game coming up on Sunday. And yeah, half of it is because I want them to lose because I don't like the Cowboys. There's no secret there. But the other half is just that there's no DeMarcus Lawrence. Randy Gregory's not going to be there. Lyle Collins not going to be there. Michael Gallup's not going to be there. And yeah, Michael Gallup might not be their main receiver now that they have CeeDee Lamb and they have Amari Cooper. But when you have a guy like Michael Gallup, he takes away from some of the coverage because you can't just sleep on him. You got to pay attention to all of them, so you got to play honest out there in the secondary, okay? So without him, maybe they shade the coverage to CeeDee Lamb. Maybe they shade the coverage to Amari Cooper and be able to take one of those guys out the game. And I haven't seen anything from Zeke other than the fact that his body looks a little bit better, pause, Other than that, I haven't seen anything on the field as far as production-wise goes, man. And, I think that last game that they had was pretty foolhardy, man. You threw for a lot of empty yards, man. Tampa Bay 3 turnovers, and you throw for 475 yards, 4 touchdowns, and you still lose the game with no running game whatsoever. Going up against those young guns down there in San Diego, man. Man, they're going to lose. They're going to lose, man. They're going to lose. I'm not going to predict the score, but I think they're going to lose. And that leaves us with what? That leaves us with us. That leaves us with your Philadelphia Eagles, man. All right? And everybody knows, we look very impressive coming off that win against Atlanta. Now, some people out there are coming back or coming around to the Eagles. I ain't really into the national media all that much, but, they're starting to come around to the Eagles. They're starting to look at the team that, they might play Atlanta, and who knows what Atlanta's going to be. It's too early in the season. It may be too early in the season for us to talk about what we're going to be. But who knows what Atlanta's going to be? Maybe Atlanta makes the playoffs, and then how good does that win look against Atlanta then? Okay? All right? But what we do know, and what I know for sure, is that Eagles team looked dominant, aside from the 14 penalty flags that we can clean up. They looked like a team that was well coached. They looked like a team that went out and executed not only on offense, but on defense and on special teams. Okay? So when I take that into account and I see a dominant offensive line and a dominant defensive line, right now, arguably the best on both sides. And we're going to San Francisco. And everyone's talking about what's going on with San Francisco. I'll break down the matchups and what I think are the key matchups and how the Eagles should play offensively and defensively against San Francisco and what I think will be the outcome of that game in a video that I'm going to post a little bit later. But just think about this for a second, though. If we win this game and we go 2-0 and Dallas loses and they go 0-2, are you really worried about Washington being 1-1 in the division? I got to look and see who's the next team that they're going to play. But what really should be on your mind is the fact that if we go 2-0 and Dallas goes 0-2, let's just say they win the game and they go 1-1. And then we go down to Dallas in week 3. And if we beat Dallas and we go 3-0, send them to 1-2 or worse, 0-3, which I think is going to be. Could this division be ours already? Could we put a strong, dominant stronghold on the division and get through the top half of the season, knowing that we got teams like Kansas City, Tampa Bay, Saints coming up on our schedule, Seahawks. We can get through some of those tougher games to get to the back half of the season. These next 2 weeks right here, depending on what's going to play, that's a long season. We don't know. And you know what's happened with injuries, knocking on that wood. But if we can win this game right here and set us up for the next game, depending on what's happening with the Cowboys, which is clearly our biggest foe, or, our biggest competition as far as teams in the division coming up this year, man, we could put ourselves in a real good position. A position we ain't been in a while. That's all I got to say for this video right here, man. All right? Looking excited to the game. Check me out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Check out this next video I'm going to drop. It's going to be in depth on, exactly what I think we should do as far as what's going on against San Francisco. We'll look at some other matchups, but we'll definitely look at some key matchups and key factors into what's going to turn out into what I think is going to be an Eagles victory coming up on Sunday against the San Francisco 49ers. That's all I got. This has been your boy. This has been your man. We out.